Hello friends, hello. Welcome to this 11/11 messages and preparation video. I haven't been on here on this channel in quite a while. I really had to take quite a bit of time off to just do some personal, get my personal stuff straight. But I'm back with a new commitment to my YouTube. So we're going to be doing the messages for 11/11 right now. And I just want you to get comfortable. We're going to create some sacred space. You know, there's always the initial kind of hair tending that needs to go on. And everything that happens during this video is part of the message and within the sacred space that we're creating, or that's already really been created. But I want us to just kind of settle in for a second before we just start channeling messages or bringing forth all of that stuff. So to kind of get myself kind of centered, it took many tries to get this video going. So I just want to get this little intro. I'm going to be using a little mugwort cigarette. It's rose essential oil, scented very lightly. But anyway, the main ingredient is mugwort. And there's some others. This is from Garden Berry Company, in case anybody asks. But I use these more for ceremony or ritual than just like smoking. I don't really smoke. But if I'm going to be doing sacred circle or something, or I need to visualize, I need to visualize stuff, then I will just I only smoke like a couple of little puffs at a time. It's more like my little medicine pipe. So let's get yourself into sacred space. We're calling in our guides. I'll give you some of this too, because we want to call in the guides that want to be a part of this sacred circle, and I'm creating this circle around myself, around anyone who's listening now or in the future. You can use this as a timeless reading, but really the messages are intended to prepare you for the 11/11 gateway. I'm recording this in 2020, and you can use it for other 11/11 gateways. It's whenever you come across it, the messages are going to pertain to you. There's also music playing softly in the background. This is an intuitively chosen playlist. And so there may be times when Spirit stops me to listen to what music is playing, or to listen to a lyric and pass it along as part of the reading. All right, that's enough of that. That's a lot. Okay, let me just make sure it's all out. One time I didn't, and the whole little cigarette just burned down. Yeah, all right. Just put that away for later. So I'm going to share with you who's here with me right now, what guides want to come in for this message, and then you can call in your own. I love this little cigarette case. It's like warrior spirit, just like me. So I may be stopping to pull in other things. I think I've gathered mostly what I've needed. So just a message here, two things happening. Two messages, main messages coming through. One is a collective message that I'm going to do first for the 11/11. And the second is a message for the soulmate journey. So for those of you on the journey to find your soulmate, aka otherwise known as, some people call it like the twin ray, or you're the one. It's not a twin flame. That's something a little different. But so there'll be a second message, and I'll timestamp it in the description or in the comments for the soulmate journey. So I'm going to do them separately because not everyone is on the soulmate journey, or those messages won't resonate with you if you're not. So the guides that I have coming in right now are Sanat Kumara and Lady Venus, Isis and Osiris, Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, and we're calling in, although these messages are for the collective, for those of you that have sacred counterparts, divine partners, we're calling in the higher selves of those divine partners to join us. So that would be your divine masculine or your divine feminine other counterpart. So for me, that's a divine masculine counterpart. All right. So let's get going with the messages for the collective. So our circle is cast. We are in sacred space. We are being protected by these guides as well as other guides around us at this time. You've got your own guides and your own protection guides in place. So I don't feel like we need to belabor the fact of like how protected this circle is. However, I will bring forward, when I was reaching in to just grab the little smokes, all of these little papers came out with the box. So this is kind of the general overall themes. If I can get them apart now. The general overall themes for this 11/11. So the gateway technically opens tomorrow, which is, I don't even know, is that the 4th? Through the 11th, and then like a few days beyond the 11th is where these energies are going to be the strongest. But they're saying that the effects of this gateway will be very long lasting. They're saying for the next year or so, like to the next 11/11. So the two big overarching themes were, how's that backwards? It drives me crazy when it does that. I don't know if it is or not. Strong boundaries and a love spell. So these are just little drawings that I do when I'm creating intention candles for myself. I just like draw the little intention. I just stick it on there with tape or whatever. Stick it on my candle with tape. So strong boundaries is for this collective message, and love spell we're going to save for the soulmate message. And then ancestral witch also came out. So I want to just see why ancestral witch came out. Okay, so yeah, so there's a lot of ancestral energy, ancestor guides also helping us through this 11/11 portal. Because the work that you do now, the energies that come through and the timeline that you choose to step into for the 11/11 is really healing ancestral lines like, holy crap, they're saying all the way back to the beginning of time on Gaia. So that's like a big, kind of like a big responsibility to be healing for your entire ancestral line all the way. So it's, and really when they say all the way, in the spirit world, there is no quote unquote linear time. So really you're just healing the ancestral line as a whole. So I always, when I'm doing ancestral healing, I always say like backwards and forwards in time, in this time, space, reality, and any other parallel realities and dimensions. Like I just kind of encompass the whole thing. But this is going to be impacting a very wide circle. The healing work and the, they just keep saying it's very profound. So whatever you do now is going to have really big impacts, not just on yourself, but on all your ancestors. And for some of us that believe that we are our own ancestors, in a sense, then yeah, it's just really a lot of healing. So to kind of set the stage for the messages, I'm going to bring out two decks. They wanted me to bring out one, and I was like, I kind of want this other one too. So we're going to be talking first about strong boundaries. And what does that mean for this 11/11? Like, that's very broad. So we're going to be diving a little bit deeper with my deck. This is just a homemade little deck that I made called the Labyrinth of Dragonshire That's the name of the deck, and each card spells out a letter of Labyrinth of Dragonshire. So they all have channeled messages on them. So this is just a homemade deck. And then I also wanted to work with, oh heck, what is it even called? No, I forgot. That's probably why they didn't want me to bring it out. It's a John Holland? I'll get the name of the deck and put it in the things. But it's a little like working with the elements deck, which I think it's not US based. I think it's German based. Because the little book I got was like in German and English. But anyway, I just love all of the little, the artwork on each card. So let's just pull out. I did not pre-pull out the cards. And I'm just going to shuffle on camera. Alright, so this one wants to come out. What do we want to know about strong boundaries in the 1111? They're going to give me 3 from this deck. Okay, oh, that's the same one I got for myself earlier today. And then we're going to take one little bonus from this little working with the elements, which will be kind of like our advice. Oh, okay. So let's just piece together this message, because I've been preparing for the 1111 ever since the eclipses in the summertime. Spirit kept telling me like 1111 is the one, 1111 is the one, and every time we would go through a portal or a gate, it was kind of like, okay, this is preparing you for the 1111. You know, we went through Lion's Gate was for the 1111. Everything was like for the 1111. And there are others. I mean, there's always gates and stuff like that, but this 1111 one held like special significance. So let's just go with the first little card that came out from the Labyrinth deck, which is a Y, and the message on the back is allow the serpent to rise. So I'm going to put them all out here because I want to see what this strong boundaries thing is all about. Then we got R, and the message on the back is relief is being offered, do you accept it? And then we got an 8, and it's healing is happening within you, allow. So allow the serpent to rise, relief is being offered, do you accept it? And healing is happening within you, allow. How does that relate to strong boundaries? So not Kumara, and I've been working a lot with the Kumaras. They're part of what I call my transition team, like transitioning from this way, this timeline or this reality into a whole new one that's being birthed, being that I'm manifesting, and that those of others of you are manifesting as well. That kind of culminates. They're saying really started. The culmination started at this full moon in Taurus, but this 1111, that was kind of like the ending, and this 1111 is like we step through the 1111, like 1111 gate into the beginning of this whole brand new thing. And I'm looking behind me, like they totally take my attention over here to this shadow. And it almost looks like, okay, it either looks like 2 things for me. It either looks like a seahorse or it looks like the Loch Ness Monster. Okay, and they're telling me it's Loch Ness and Nessie. And it kind of goes along with our last card, which is the Unicorn Kingdom. I love this artwork. There's so many like little faces. Like you have to get so up close and personal with these cards, and they're tiny. But there's all these little spirit faces and stuff. But this one is kind of like believing in magic. Working with the unicorns, and Loch Ness Monsters, like, do you believe in magic? That's what they're saying is allow the serpent to rise. They were talking about this Loch Ness Monster. This usually pertains to Kundalini rising, but they're saying, no, not this time. It is dragon fire. And there is some dragon fire involved. So there is a spiritual awakening involved with this gateway. But it's kind of like in order to allow it, you have to believe in magic. You have to believe in your own magic with a K, M-A-G-I-C-K. because you're manifesting these changes along with Spirit, who's co-creating it along with you. But this goes, if you're not on my Instagram, this also goes to in more depth to the message I channeled over on Instagram a few days ago for the Samhain gateway, which had to do with getting out of your own way and allowing the miracles and magic to, that whole channeled message is over there too, allowing the magic and miracles to unfold on your behalf. And this is a message for all of us, myself included, who are manifesting like really big things for the next phase of our lives. This also has to do with the final closing out of the Saturn-Pluto conjunction and all of that stuff about, where that's been all year long and kind of messing with us. And that is closing out a huge chapter in our lives. I don't do really anything on astrology, but if you kind of want a more in-depth message on that, like a really in-depth one, that I really resonate the way she kind of story tells it in a sense, or not story tells it, but the way she kind of tells it. Wonder Girl Astrology has been talking about the Saturn-Pluto conjunction all year, and it's finally going to be closing out along with these retrogrades and all that. So this is all we've been in this waiting room all year long, literally now, and literally now with things that are going on in the 3D world. But if you chose to rise above that, then it allowed you to kind of come more into your own personal power. This whole year was all about finding the power and the magic within. And Nessie and the unicorns, I mean, these are all like, they do exist. Like in my world, they exist. Like they're not just magical imaginary beings, but they do exist. And I choose to believe in them. And in such, you're tapped into this whole other realm where like anything is possible. Miracles in this realm of magic are like, not that they're no big deal, but they're not the big deal that they're made out to be elsewhere. Like you have to be like, I'm not going to go into that, but that you have to be some special person in order to have a miracle, which is not true. So you're being asked to just allow the magic to rise within you, believe in your magic of your manifestations, and believe that you're being supported 100% by Spirit in whatever you want to manifest. And as I put my hand down to just move, they threw like almost 2 cards just like flipped in between my fingers. So to go along with that, it's an O and an F and an O. So they're saying the 1111 is also, as part of this believing in magic, it's not just being so serious about our manifestations because they're already done. The order's already been put in and they're being created for us. And the hardest part, of course, is we're being asked to trust that it is really all working out on behalf of our greatest and highest good, because that was our intention. So the R is like relief is being offered. Do you accept it? And if you choose to accept the relief, this card always points to Spirit's trying to help you. When this card comes out, it's always like Spirit and Source or your guides or however you want to look at that is always trying to help you. But you have to ask for the help. And right now what I found is the manifestation of that divine assistance is almost immediate. As soon as I say I need help with something, even if it's some small little mundane everyday thing, the help I receive is almost like immediate. So the manifestation of the assistance is like they're right there, like ready to assist. And they are promising, they keep telling me, they keep showing me, they're always telling me, they show me in different ways, sometimes they tell me, that this is forward motion. And in the message, that's this card, forward motion. In the message I channeled over on Instagram, there was like doubt in the channeling, even myself included, because we've been getting these like promises of better things to come. I said since like I remember being on Instagram Lives in January 2019 and really feeling like this is the breakthrough that we need. The new life is here. The new life is coming. Because that was all the channeling that came in. And then suddenly it was like, whoa, no, it's not. Detour. So the detour was like, for me, it's been quite some time. And the detour was several years, 2019 and 2020, of again realigning. So it's been long, arduous, and a lot of serious work. But they're saying, and so that, if it's for me, I know it's for you, because otherwise I wouldn't be delivering these messages. But the seriousness is kind of over now. Like, shadow work and working on yourself and your spiritual journey is a serious matter, I guess, to us, because all this stuff is happening and we're like, why are these things happening to me? And Spirit's always like, well, they're not happening to you, they're happening for you. So the next card that flew out was F, which is fun is required right now. So it's time, they say, to just sit back and relax and trust that these manifestations are coming, that when you choose to step through the portal of the 1111 gateway, because it is a conscious choice, you don't have to choose. You have free will choice, and you can choose not to, step through that gateway. But it's a conscious choice to step through it, and when you do, then the healing is already happening. Healing is always happening, right? But there's going to be a big healing on the other side of that door. And it's not just one thing, because there's all these spirals in this card. So it could be your spiritual life healing. It could be your physical body, your mental body. It could be your career. It could be your relationships. It could be your soulmate journey. One of these things or all of these things for some of you. And so it's an acceptance, like, yeah, that stuff's happening. But at the same time, trusting in the magic and having some fun, like trying to let go and just relax about these manifestations. Because they're saying they're actually coming sooner than we think. And this is like the prep period of just making sure, again, this is kind of coming down from that channeling I did about Samhain, but it's the prep period to make sure that we're physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually ready for when those new things come. Because when they do, it's going to happen very quickly. The manifestations are just going to start coming in kind of fast. And if we can know that they're coming because we've asked for them and we've manifested them, then we already know they're coming. But we need to prepare for the 3D, or whatever, the physical, I want to say 3D. Prepare for the physical manifestation of them. So think about some of your bigger manifestations, even the smaller ones. I don't know what y'all's are. I know what mine are, and some of them are like super huge. So if I think about like, okay, this is going to happen, like, oh, holy crap. Some of those I'm like, whoa, crap do. So that when that's a lot. It's a lot for me to handle. And that's where they're also saying, like, don't think about it as it's a lot for me to handle, because relief is being offered. Do you accept it? They want you to lean on them. Your guides want you to lean on them, and myself included. Like, I'm used to doing everything by myself. Spiritually, my own journey is shared with really no one but in my local vicinity, other than myself and what tidbits I share with you guys online with my online tribe. And so that's where the strong boundaries comes into. This overall message is you've got to have faith in your dream or dreams or manifestations. You can't let others affect you in any way towards making you doubt yourself or what you're trying to bring forth into the world. Because it's just so, whatever it is, if it's being done with a heart-based intention, then it's so needed right now, okay? It's so needed right now. And so you've got to set some strong boundaries between yourself and others around you, wherever they might be, physical or online or whatever, who don't believe in or would have something, like the naysayers, would have something to say about whatever it is that you're trying to bring forward. Very, very strong boundaries right now. Like, don't share your stuff that you're manifesting with anybody right now. Just keep it close. Let Spirit do the work on your behalf, and let those things just come to you. Prepare as best you can. If it means, making lists, or, for some of you, it could be like, okay, as an example, like a physical move somewhere that you've never been before. And that you're being fully supported on this, but you may be asked suddenly to, like, okay, it's time to move now, Spirit says, and you're like, holy crap, okay, moving is not an easy task. Moving is packing, thinking of everything you're going to take with you, clearing out clutter, like all of the stuff that goes with moving. Well, if I have to pack up and move in the matter of, I don't know, whatever time frame you're given, it's going to be different for everybody. What can I do right now to prepare for that? Could I get some boxes? Could I, like, clear out the clutter and just kind of, like, get rid of that and gift it or give it away or whatever? Can I prioritize what goes versus what might stay? All of that, so that when the offer is given, or the assistance is offered to you, or the time comes and Spirit says, now's the time, you are more in a position to be like, okay, I've got this, because I know the plan. I just kind of have to follow the steps. Spirit's with me, supporting me the entire way. So that's just an example. It could be anything for you. It could be bigger than that, smaller than that, whatever. That's just the overall message. Keep those manifestations close to your heart. Prepare yourself internally and externally as best you can for what's coming. And these are good things, right? I'm not saying like what's coming, like, no. The other message that came out is, so we should be excited, right? We should be excited that good stuff is coming. It's not more shadow shit. It's good stuff, all right? It's the miracles and the blessings and all the stuff we've been waiting for. So we should go have some fun, get excited that it's coming, try to plan and prepare as best we can, keep some very strong boundaries around what we're working on. You don't ever share your magic with anyone, really, until it's pretty much manifested. Unless you have a very, very, like my guides, of course, obviously. But in the external world, I do not ever share my big manifestations with anybody. So let me see if there's anything else they want to share. Okay. So I think that's all right now for the collective message. So I'm going to come back next with the message of the 1111 for soulmates. And we're going to continue to build on what's already been shared and bringing in some additional messages for those on the soulmate journey. So join me in that part of the video if you are called. I will see you there in just a second. Hello, fellow soulmates, soulmate journeyers. Welcome back to this message. I know this is most annoying. Sorry, this has probably been fiddling. There's a lot of fiddling. There's a lot going on today. Just, I don't know. I think as the Mercury just stationed and all that, but it took me like 4 wardrobe changes and 2 or 3 camera angle changes before I could even get on and do this video. So this is our additional add-on message for soulmates for the 1111. All right. Continuing to build on strong boundaries, but we're also bringing in the love spell. There is a song playing right now on the playlist that says, I still think about you. Do you think about me? That's the main message. Like, I still think about you. Do you think about me? When you're all alone, when you need a friend, what we have we'll never have again. All right, so let's draw some cards for the soulmate journey for the 1111. See what Spirit wants to talk to us about there for those of us wanting to either find our divine counterpart or reunite with our divine counterpart, or okay, I know it's going to come out again because I keep seeing it. It's actually two stuck together here. Is that it? Okay. This song is called, I'm just going to put it here in case you want to go listen to the lyrics, but it says, it's by Danger Danger, so I have a lot of 80s. I grew up in the 80s playlist. But it's called I Still Think About You by Danger Danger, if you want to go listen to that. So the first card that came out for us, for our soulmate journey, is the E, which is Earth. On the back, it's the Earth card. So I have the 4 elements in this deck as well. This one is Earth, Root, Ground, Solar Rays, and Inner Fire. Inner Fire. The second card is B. This is Out, My Achy Breaky Heart. This is like my 3 of Swords in the tarot. And an O, which looks like a directional symbol or a wheel or the wheel of the year or whatever you want to call that. And that is like, that's 11. And the message says, you're creating your own reality right now. Watch out. So let's expand on that for soulmates. What they want to tell us about this Earth card. Okay, this part could get emotional. All right. So it goes back to the fun. So they're saying, okay, don't be so serious, because this almost looks like Pac-Man in a way. It's like a big E kind of eating the Earth, or Gaia, which is right there. But they're saying this is a fun journey. All right. So this goes back to where we left off over on the other reading about having fun. This should be a fun journey. All right. There's so many emotions tied up in the soulmate journey that we can get really stuck in all of the past life recollections and he or she's not here yet. But what they're saying is he or she's not here yet. So we need to flip the script on that. He or she's not here yet should not be, oh my eyes, sorry, hold on, stop. For those of you, there's so many messages coming through. For those of you on this soulmates journey, we're getting a huge physical body upgrade. And it's a third eye right now. Because what's happening, okay, our third eye is being upgraded right now. Because we're going to start, this was also part of the channeling I did over on my Instagram. We're going to start to see the physical reality of our union in our third eye. So, for example, they're going to start, they have been for some of us, but if not, you're getting this upgrade so that you can begin to see these visions of your union taking place. So, for example, you're supposed to connect with your soul mate and you've never met that person before. You're going to start to see how that first meeting might take place in your visions, in your third eye, in your dreams, in astral travel, and in meditation. And so this upgrade is mainly coming, it's coming from 2 places. It's coming from Gaia, but it's mainly coming from Solaris, which was why Solar Rays is part of this, because it was odd to me that it was the Earth card, but Solar Rays was on here. And I have to say that, not that I never believe what Source says, but I do see that happening. Like my eyes have been, it has been so hard for me to see the past 2 or 3 days. My vision has been, whenever I'm getting like a big third eye upgrade, my vision gets very blurry. And I can see fine, but when I go to look at certain things, like my eyes just feel so bleary, like something's changing with my sight. And so we're grounding in this massive crown chakra third eye upgrade to be able to receive these visions about this manifested soulmate coming into our reality. And like I said, there's so much emotion tied to this. If you've been working on the soulmate journey for a while, then there's so many emotions that tie to that. I mean, can you imagine meeting your, like, the one in physical reality for the first time? Like, I would just be, like, totally so anxious and nervous about that. And, like, all these things, all these ego things start coming up. So they're saying, like, take a step back from all of that. And the message is just to relax and have fun. Like, your one is going to find you no matter what. You guys are magnetically connected to each other. As a twin ray, you were separated at first, emanation from source, meaning you're part of the same light ray. You're not going to miss each other. Oh, it's so hard for me to see right now. You're not going to miss each other, and you're just not going to miss each other. You're totally connected, and if you made any type of pact or vow or sacred contract in a previous lifetime, which I've but I've worked with quite a few people who have made like a blood pact, especially a blood pact. If you shared blood with your sacred partner in a previous lifetime and said, we are never ever going to be apart, and you say you're ready to manifest that sacred partner in this lifetime, and you know you are, like some of you are not ready. Some of you, okay, so they're saying everyone watching this is on the soulmate journey, and some of you are ready right now within the next 6 months to meet that sacred partner, and others have longer to wait for that. Others have, okay, here it is. Others have this to work out first. So there's two sets of you here. There's those of you that are ready and have cleared all your karmic relationships. You've done all the healing with karmic partners in this lifetime, and you are done. You know you're done. If I say you're done and you're like, ooh, that feels like that's for me, then that's for you. You're done. But parts of that physical reality for some of you with those karmic partners is still ending. It's still coming into the final closeout with that person. Even though energetically you may have severed ties with that person, cut cords, released vows and contracts, and said, I'm done. All that can be done has been done here. And Spirit's like, yes, that's right. Then you've still got some cleanup to do, though. There's still a little bit of cleanup between you and this karmic partner. There's still some heart healing. It's mainly in the heart space, because you're leaving a relationship that for some of you thought was the one. You thought this person was the one, and then suddenly, somehow, earlier this year, when Venus went retrograde for the majority of you, you found out, like, holy crap, this person is not the one. And it took a lot of soul searching to figure that out, they're saying. But you came to that realization, you asked for something better, and something better is being delivered in the form of your sacred partner coming. I'm so excited for you. Your sacred partner coming. But there's heart healing. So between now and the time that you meet up with your sacred partner, this is for those of you in the within 6 months category, then you are being asked to just tend to your heart space and recognize that a relationship has ended. Do what you can to not burn any bridges with this person, okay? So don't let me forget, Spirit, to go to the second group of people. But don't burn any bridges with this person, all right? Don't create any more unnecessary karma between you and this other soul. If the karma was complete, you've severed the contracts and the karma is done, please do what you can to respect the relationship. This person could still continue to be your friend. You may, as the relationship falls away from being like a romantic partner, this person might still need to have contact with you in the future for some reason, and we just don't want to burn any bridges. We want to end this relationship with respect, with dignity, especially for ourselves. So even if the other person, because chances are that what's happened here is you've highly evolved and the other person, like, soul contract decided like they were not going to ascend along with you. And so you're way up here and they're like still down here. Oh, and I saw the 1111 just went by on my timer on my phone when I said that. And so you'll be the one asking to hold the higher frequency when this relationship finally ends in the physical world. So some of you may not have actually done the, like, I'm leaving right now, I'm moving out, or I'm doing all the, like, that may be forthcoming. And that's what you're being asked to also prepare for and ground in. Is like, if that's coming, what does that mean? How do I need to be prepared for that for my personal situation? But when you finally kind of break the news to this person, if they've decided not to ascend and they are operating from more of the old paradigm, the more like, oh, you've jilted me, that kind of like, oh, there's somebody, you know, all of those lower vibrations, then you might get all of that coming at you. And so you just have to be the bigger person in that situation. You really have to work from your Christ consciousness, turn the other cheek, use your ho'oponopono and your forgiveness, and really stay, don't let that person bring you down here. Stay up there and work from the higher realms, and let your guides step in and help you with that, that whole thing that's going to take place. Because it's going to be, it doesn't have to be challenging, but you're going to need to be in your strength and in your power to do that. Now, for the other group of you who this is taking a little bit longer because you have not completed a karmic contract yet with a certain partner, this is your chance to start working on that. It sounds like it's 12 to 18 months away, so really, really working on your spiritual path and your spiritual journey, doing your heart healing and recognizing, like, I do deserve this. I do deserve more than what I have now. I deserve to be loved. I deserve to be cared for. I deserve to be treated like a queen or a king. I deserve to be honored and respected. I don't deserve someone talking to me like this. I don't deserve someone treating me like this. You've got to come to that final realization, which is going to take, for some of you, a little bit more time to get to that point. And as you work through some of the eclipses and the things that are coming up in the beginning of 2021, towards the summer solstice time of 2021, then you're going to start to feel like, whoa, I think I finally reached my limits with this person, and I'm ready now because I've really raised my vibration, done a lot of inner healing, and I'm ready. So there's two camps here. For both, though, the final card is that you're creating your own reality right now. Watch out. So that all goes back to what I just said. It's for those of you where a relationship will be ending very soon. It's not burning any bridges. It's staying high vibe. It's knowing that you're creating this manifestation with your words and your actions, and focus on the good that's coming, and let the old go. I know that sometimes that's easier said than done, but if you're in this first group, this first wave or whatever, then you've already done so much of this work that you're kind of like, yeah, please, old go, new, hurry up and get here because I deserve this. It's been years and years and years in the making, and I am so ready for my good. The other camp, the little bit longer people, like, it's time to start working on your manifestation power, your magic, your creation, your co-creation with spirit, visualizing and doing all of that kind of manifesting of this soulmate, like calling them in. You're energetically bound to this person, this soulmate, magnetically and energetically. And for some of you, like I said, it was a sacred contract long ago, like a pact or something. That person knows your soul signature. That person knows your call. So mental telepathy is happening a lot right now between those of you in the first wave. Like you were already for a long time communicating with the higher self of this person. And now you've kind of gone into, and that person's already embodied their higher self. So right now when you communicate with them, you're kind of getting a little bit of both. You're getting their higher self, but a lot of times you're just getting mental telepathy because they are their higher selves. They've embodied their higher selves. And so you're speaking with them just mentally through the astrals, all right? You're not necessarily having to go up a tier and talk to their I am. It's like you're just talking to them in your mind. It's time to just, for those of you in the latter group, like start in your meditations and stuff, reaching out to this sacred partner, even if you don't know their name, even if you have no idea what they look like. Work with your guides Ask them to show you more about this person, who they might be, where they might be from. Are they embodied? Because some of them are not embodied right now, but that doesn't mean they couldn't be embodied in this lifetime. So that's like a whole other video, but doesn't mean they couldn't be embodied in this lifetime. But some of them maybe aren't embodied right now. Some of them might be your guardian angel or your spirit guide right now. And you just have to trust that whatever will work out between you is working out for the highest and best good. But it's time to clear these karmics up for this second wave of you. Clear these karmics up and get to a space where you are ready to receive your divine partner. So let me just see if there's anything else they want me to say. They want me to draw one more card from this little Working with the Elements deck for soulmates. And they gave me two, of course, since it's a partnership. There's got to be two cards. Oh, you saw me shuffle. So we got Unicorn Kingdom again. They just like to show off. You guys like to show off. And then, oh goodness, the Elements. Look at that card. That is so cool. Believing in magic. And this is a kind of like a spiritual awakening card, but this is showing like an angel on top of like a crown chakra, on top of someone's head. And so this is all going back to, this is just reinforcement of how divinely guided and orchestrated this union is. And about the messages, this is just their final little wrap up of like all the messages that you need. If it's time to act on something, if it's messages from your guides about this union, it's all going to be coming from your guides and from source, straight down in many different ways. It's not just meditation. Like she looks like she's meditating, but for those of you that are very spiritually advanced, you don't have to go into meditation anymore to get these messages. You're getting them throughout the day. You're getting them in songs. You're getting them in something you might see. You might see a spirit animal. Like they're just all around you. And for some of you, there's a special way, like your special way that your divine counterpart communicates with you. Like it could be mental telepathy. Like a lot of times you're just talking to each other throughout the day, but it could be music, it could be something else, right? So just pay attention to your special way that your counterpart communicates with you and start listening more for that. Some of you too, they're saying it's channeled messages that spirit and your soulmate are trying to give you, trying to communicate with you, and you need to start like taking notes because it's getting more detailed about how the union is going to start coming together. So when you receive sometimes a lot of channeled messages, like you may not, if you're channeling especially, you may not remember stuff. Like sometimes I don't remember, like, what did I just do? Okay, it's received and it's downloaded, but then sometimes I'm like, oh, the details, I'm fuzzy. So it's time to start almost like automatic writing them down as you're channeling them down and writing them down, or as you get the download, like taking some notes, because there's going to start being some action items for things that you need to do on behalf of your physical union manifesting that they're trying to prepare you and get ready for. So there just may be, they said, some physical tasks that have to take place just to help you prepare for the culmination of this union. So that is a ton of messages. That's a lot of information. I thank you for sticking with me. I hope this gave you what you might need for this time coming forward. And this is going to be a huge gateway. I'm probably going to do a separate little light language for this one as well. But most of all, the higher messages, we're going to keep the strong boundaries around your manifestations and around your union, and just relax and try to have fun, because really there are a lot of little moving parts and details that are all going to have to come together at some point. But just relax and feel into it. And 5D is like a slower moving dimensional space to be in, or even higher realms. Like I work multidimensionally, so I don't even say I'm 5D anymore. I'm way beyond 5D. If I ground into Gaia now, I always say I'm grounding into like 18th. I'm on 18 now, 18th dimensional Gaia. So that's 5D and everything in between, and then outward and beyond. So just take it slow, just relax. It's a message for me too, because as things start to pick up, it's best not to go into anxiety or that kind of energy, which will take you out of being able to receive some of that higher guidance. So just go slow, just try to have fun, just know it's all coming and just relax into it. That's our messages for the 1111. So on behalf of that guide team and myself that joined us here for these messages, I want to thank you all. Thank you all for joining me in this space. I'm happy to be back on my YouTube again, sharing these longer little offerings with you. And I am interested to see what's going to happen from the 1111 moving forward. So take care, everyone. Thank you. Namaste. Aloha, peace, love, and joy. I love all of you.